Hey, Happy New Year, guys. Sam here with the Film Fan Club. Sherlock's back. It's time for Season 4. Let's talk about it. Okay, so Season 3, Sherlock, a little bit of preface here. Kind of a letdown. I really liked Season 2, especially with the way they updated the final problem storyline from the Sherlock books. It was a lot better than Sherlock Holmes: A Game of Shadows with Robert Downey Jr., which tackled similar storylines. I thought it was just really well done. So when Season 3 came around, it focused a little bit too much on Watson's marriage for my taste, and then had the whole plot with Mary being like a double agent or some crap like that. And Mads Mikkelsen's brother, I think, was the villain, and he was okay, but kind of a letdown. Anyways, so I was ready at whenever we got that cliffhanger for more Moriarty. I was ready for more Moriarty because he was an awesome villain. I really liked this show's take on Moriarty. A lot of people like this show's take on Moriarty. That actor, he really needs some better material because Victor Frankenstein wasn't that good, and he's done some other movies that weren't good. But anyway, so I was ready for The Abominable Bride, and hoping that they would kind of advance the storyline. They didn't really do that. They kind of it was a one-off episode, which mostly spent a lot of times in the 1800s, but that's okay. Season 4 is here, the Six Thatchers. It's the first episode where we really are back in present day with Sherlock and Watson and Mary and Mrs. Hudson and Mycroft and all these characters that I really like from the first 3 seasons of the show. We get more Moriarty. That's what they promised us, right? Right? No, they didn't give us any more Moriarty. Basically, the way that they at the beginning of this episode, this isn't a spoiler because none of the episode has to do with Moriarty. At the beginning of the episode, is the best way to look for Moriarty is to wait and do nothing. And wait. And do what I would always do, which is fun. It's fun to get to see Sherlock get back to doing what he always does, which is taking cases and ridiculing people who are lesser than him. And but this show. It goes back to the whole Mary storyline. It just goes back to that thing. He eventually gets on this really cool case, which seems to be a really good, interesting kind of thing, and involving the different Margaret Thatcher statues that are getting destroyed across London, and then eventually he finds the thumbstick or the thumb drive or whatever it is, the memory stick that has all of Mary's information from when she was a covert black ops agent, which is just the stupidest thing in the world. And so then we're stuck back dealing with the stupid Mary storyline again, and I'm supposed to care about Mary as a character, and I just don't. And it was really let down. I felt like this episode was a really big bait and switch. Because at the end of Season 3, it was like, it had a huge cliffhanger with Moriarty, and we're like, oh, we're gonna get more Moriarty, right? There's only 3 episodes per season when it comes to Sherlock, and it takes like 2 or 3 years to make a season. So you would think that they wouldn't waste a lot of time, but there's no Moriarty in this episode whatsoever. There's nothing. This episode has nothing to do with Moriarty, from what I can tell. Like a couple of like flashbacks where it's like, oh, he's got to, remember he thinks that the Margaret Thatcher thing is connected to Moriarty at the beginning of the episode, like a normal episode should have been, because that was the cliffhanger at the end of the last season. You should do that. You shouldn't bait and switch your audience. But it turns out Sherlock's just crazy, and Moriarty really had nothing to do with this episode at all. So why did I even watch it? I didn't care about the Mary storyline last season. I didn't really care about the Mary storyline this season. I didn't care about, also, this episode, well, let me just focus on Mary for a second. Mary as a character is really boring, and she lies to Watson a lot, and they kind of ruined Watson as a character a little bit, because he goes through some, personal relationship struggles that you can just throw in the wall on any show, happen in any show to try and add some stupid, pointless drama. And Mary as a character is kind of stupid as well, and she has to, she was a covert black ops agent, and as if that's not unbelievable enough, they have her kind of switch up her personas a couple times, which really just means putting on a stupid wig or putting on this ridiculous accent that the actress can't really pull off, and then rather than being an actual show about Sherlock Holmes solving mysteries that taking down Moriarty. That's what I was promised. That's what this show should be. That's just what Sherlock Holmes is. And then what they do to Sherlock Holmes in this episode kind of pisses me off as well, is there's multiple times where he, he's talking to Lestrade and is like, oh, you're on a date today. Well, I deduced this about the date that you're on. She has kids and she doesn't want to be with you and blah, 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 blah. Makes these really out there predictions, and it's cool. And then Lestrade walks away, and then Watson's like, did you just make that up? And Sherlock's like, yeah, I probably just made that up. So what? So is Sherlock just a liar? Is he just a liar? And then there's another scene where he tracks down someone. He's like, I've deduced all the variables to which have led me to the hypothesis that you'd be in this exact location, something like that. And it's like, no, or I just traced you on the GPS. It's like, don't do that, show. Don't do that. That's Sherlock Holmes. He's supposed to be a badass. He's supposed to be one of the coolest characters, one of the smartest characters that we could ever have. And I don't know why you would do that. I don't know why you'd do it. I don't know if Stephen Moffat is just losing his touch when it comes to a lot of these shows, because Doctor Who season 8 was just kind of meh. I was thinking that maybe The Abominable Bride would be a really good episode. It was an alright episode. It was a fine filler episode, but I was really ready to get back on the horse with this, really get back into Sherlock Holmes mythology, and I feel like they just dropped the ball. They just dropped the ball on it, guys. I think Mark Gatiss wrote this, not Stephen Moffat, but of course Stephen Moffat is the showrunner of this and Doctor Who. And the shows that I've been watching have been kind of a little bit declining in quality recently, and it kind of pisses me off. So anyways, for Sherlock, the Six Thatchers, Season 4, Episode 1, I'd probably give it like a 3.5 out of 10. Hey, thanks for checking this video out. As always, make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel and go ahead and follow me on Twitter and Instagram as well, @SamuelD. Carrico. Thanks a lot. I'll see you in the next video.